Right. We are recording. Hello and welcome, Caro and Wayne.
Oh,
How are you? What time? What time
yeah,
is it in the UK? It's quarter to 7 p.m. here.
yeah, 5:45.
Okay, so I'm an hour older, and
You know what is going to happen? You live in the future.
I know. I'm like Marty. Okay, let's go. Okay, welcome, guys. I'm really, really happy you're here. We've been trying to put this together for a while, but we lead busy lives. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. I'll get to you introducing yourselves in a second, but let's introduce the paintings behind ourselves. They're colorful, and I think they represent also the very colorful characters that we are, all three of us. So behind me is one of Mom's paintings, and behind you, Carol,
It's one of my paintings.
it's
Um,
beautiful.
oh, we have the microphone there. So.
That's all right. And what does it represent? A flower is a flower, or is there more to it?
It's an interesting one because that one actually, I thought it was just a canvas. So
Right.
I got it secondhand. I needed canvases and I couldn't find some locally. So somebody was selling a secondhand one that was white, was a white flower.
Right.
And then I realized it wasn't just flat. It
Oh,
had a
that
whole thing
texture.
around. So I
Wow.
painted it all white, but it didn't work for me to do something else. So this has been, to be honest, trying my patience on I want to do something else, but the painting decides that it's going to be this. And then I had the colors, and then I had to come back again and repaint, and I'm never completely happy about it. So it's like a reminder of how much thinking
Work
I
in progress.
yes. So when my critic comes around, it's just that that's like a representation of that.
Oh,
So
it's
it stayed.
beautiful, though. Okay, it's really funny that we're speaking English because we normally communicate in Spanish since we are childhood friends.
Yeah.
Wayne, we're doing it for you. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourselves in your own words?
Yeah.
After you.
There you go.
I'm Wayne Yates. I'm a coach and a facilitator, and I'm also a driving instructor as well.
Right.
So I've been coaching for around 6 years, and I've been a driving instructor for about 11 years.
Wow. So during pandemic times, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I haven't been able to instruct, um, but I've had other things to keep me busy. So,
Sure. All righty. So we'll get back to more about the two of you, but Carol, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Carolina Barker.
Ah,
And with Cynthia, we know each other from our English school, primary school. So, which we were like this, so like
in
really
Argentina. Let's say in
in
Argentina.
Argentina, in Argentina. So now life has taken us. So me to England. It's 20 years I've been here in England, and Cynthia to Brussels in Belgium, well, and many places as you probably have
Yes.
heard. And
20,
that's why she can do this in
27
so
years
many
and
languages.
counting. Yes.
And so I work in fitness. I am a fitness instructor. I teach Zumba, but especially I decided to dedicate myself to rehabilitation. I'm a masseuse therapist as well, and also my absolute passion is to coach. I'm a three principles facilitator. I've been doing that for the past 7 years, seven and a bit. Um, there's a part of that we trained together, and during the pandemic, we created a series called How to Connect with Humans, um, which is doing really well. We're coming to a year of that.
Yeah.
And And that's a free series that we created to help people during the pandemic, as you've been doing this now,
To
and
bring some hope, and to understand that crises are also opportunities. I'd
yeah,
like to stop for a second. Have I interrupted you? Or did you
no,
want to add? Okay. About, yeah, you being a rehab coach, and I am so very grateful. You have been coaching me and my muscles and tendons and vertebra and all the rest for the last, I don't know how long, twice a week. And thanks to you, look, it moves.
she
She
moves,
moves.
she walks.
And look what I can do. Okay, so it's been a long way to freedom, but this is something. So first and foremost, thank you so very much, Carol, and let's keep up the good work.
we have
And
we have great fun, and that's what I love. I mean, the people I work with, for me, the most important thing is our relationship, is our connection.
sure,
um
heart to heart.
yeah, yeah, and that's usually what happens, is that, like in our case, we have absolutely extra, obviously, because
Sure,
we had an amazing connection from before. um
but there's
but
also trust, and trust is very important when you're entrusting your health,
yeah, because
and your
we're in
recovery.
different countries, and I can't really be there like I would be, like I have been before, present with my clients. So now I have to develop a way of working with clients and
Mhm.
trusting that they're going to be safe while I'm sort
Yes,
of coaching and doing things remotely.
yeah.
And
But you're doing that brilliantly. So I would encourage anybody suffering from anything just to get in touch, No, really, it's because you will give them the trust we have built, but they will recover that because you kind of know what you're doing. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a really funny way of saying sometimes I couldn't move. So we would laugh rather than cry. And so I think I'm living proof that you know what you're doing and you're very good at it. So there you go. But if I may, Wayne, just coming back to you about this, these physical constraints that I've had since the accident. It's been 2 years for me. You have some of that, don't you? You
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
yeah. I've got cerebral palsy, and that basically means that the messages from my brain don't translate to my body and my legs as they should.
Right.
So I walk with sticks and a walker, and I've got a wheelchair that I use in the car, or that I use outside for long distance, which stays in the car. Um, and for me, it's kind of um, during the pandemic over the last 15 months, it's been okay. I've got this disability, but we've also been in lockdown, so it's kind of been harder to do things.
Yes.
So I've kind of had to be a bit more creative of what I've been doing, you know. And I think for me, it's been good to know that I'm not kind of limited
In any
because
way.
of disability. Yeah,
mhm.
So it's kind of we won't be defined by our circumstances, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And how about becoming a driving instructor?
Becoming a driving instructor was, for me, it was weird because it wasn't something that I thought of when I was in college or in school or anything like that.
Hmm.
I've always loved driving, and I just thought, right, okay, let's, I want to do something with driving. I want to do something within that. But for me, it was kind of when I was learning to drive, there wasn't anybody that was teaching people with disabilities and having help.
Right.
I think there was one or two instructors in the area that did it. And when my first instructor's car broke, I couldn't have a lesson for like 7 weeks.
Right.
was at that point, I just thought, you know what, this isn't good enough.
Uh-huh.
Why should I, who's got a disability, be constrained in that respect of I can't have a lesson for 7 weeks because my instructor's car's broken?
And
And
it's
I,
the only one available. Yeah.
yeah, and I just didn't want everyone else to go through that.
Wow.
So I just thought, let's train
Let's
to
do
be a
it.
driver. Yeah.
But it's also really nice because, you know, we were talking about being able to identify yourself with the person either teaching, leading, or in this case, teaching you to drive. And you kind of understand, you know, from a bodily perspective, but also from a feeling perspective, what it is like. And you
Yeah.
always remain calm, right?
90% of the time.
He's an amazing instructor, but also the car can be driven by any completely able person. So
Right.
anybody that drives automatic cars are probably as common as
Yeah.
manual cars. So he's an automatic car, and the pedals come down. So he's got hand controls, but also the pedals go up,
Feet.
flip up or down,
Yeah. Ah.
allowing people, whether they have problems with their, some people have problems with their, say, the left side or the right side, or you know, they don't have
Like
an arm.
mobility.
There's all varieties,
Yeah.
yeah. But also anybody, like probably most of the people you teach are just
the majority of the
able people.
Yeah, the majority I teach are people without physical disabilities.
Disabilities.
But having the adaptions on the car just means that I've got that extra market, if you like,
Yes,
kind of tap into.
it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Are you never afraid?
Oh yeah, all the time.
No, because I wanted to say that with identifying yourself, you know, with the personality. I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't feel totally in control. I had these, you know, the body wasn't working, and then you couldn't go out, and then we didn't know what was going on. And, you know, I don't know about China. We were just getting, you know, information being sent out, and the media was, you know, spreading that. But it really became real for us, very real, when Spain and Italy started with this terrible, terrible death toll and the rest. And then we were shocked, and I was very scared because I didn't understand what was going on, and it took a while. It took a while to shut the noise out, you know, to stop following the news in every language I speak, and then to reassess. Okay, I'm not defined by the circumstances. What
Yeah.
was your experience, the two of you? What was it like?
I think for me, I didn't quite understand what was going on to
No.
begin with, like yourself. Um, I remember one time specifically, I remember working, and me and my pupil were talking about it at one point, and then after that lesson, I received a text from a friend up in Birmingham, up in the West Midlands, and I remember him saying, "Oh, I can just imagine us being completely locked down." I was like, I don't know, you know, I was kind of dismissing it and kind of, because I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to continue with what I'm doing, and then
Sure.
if we get locked down, we get locked down, or if whatever happens, happens.
We'll adapt at that time.
Yeah, and I just kind of remember thinking when I think it was late March, we kind of got locked down. I remember thinking, wow, this isn't just a flu
A flu.
type.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a more serious thing.
And
I remember speaking to Carolina about it, and she was completely calm. And then for me, I was a bit wobbly, like, oh, what's going to happen? What am I going to do?
Armageddon. Woo! Yeah.
So I kind of had all this kind of emotions and all these kind of feelings coming through, and I was just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to, you know?
Uh-huh.
It was really calm. And for me, I think it was just it was panic because of not the unknown and not knowing what was going to happen
Yeah.
and how long it was going to carry on for.
But then little by little, you go to your senses, kind of. Or she
Yeah,
got you to your senses.
well, a bit of both. Yeah, I mean, we had conversations, didn't we? And then I think I think after the initial wobble, I just kind of was like, you know what, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be fine, whatever happens.
Yes. And you, Carol, how did you, were you that calm or was it just pretending?
To be honest, the first one, yeah, the first quarantine I was.
Yeah, March, April, May
Somehow, it
20.
was I was actually questioning myself, should I be more worried? I was like, I'm um
Am I
but
missing something? Yeah.
yeah, there was something, I don't know, there was something in my blood and in me that kicked in. I thought, come on, you're a descendant of many people that came out of wars and terrible situations, by my great grandparents and my grandparents, and they came to Argentina to make a new life. And also, you and me lived 10 years through a coup in Argentina, which was really hard. So I thought, I know this one. This one I know. I mean, I just went and got flour,
Compared to
hams.
hyperinflation, this
Yeah,
is
I just thought like
shock.
there's something in me that knows how to
Resilience.
deal with this one.
Yeah.
I've been preparing my whole life for this. I'm fine. We're
Yeah.
fine. And we don't live together. So the other thing that was a bit of a situation is that Wayne was on his own. I live with my daughter, who is was 16, now 17. But it was also to be sure that Wayne wasn't going to be left on his own. But luckily, there was something in me that knew that we always find a way. We always find a way. That's what, since we've been together, it's like 8 years or whatever. There's something that I learned with Wayne is that we always find a way.
We'll make it
There's
work.
always a way. So luckily, straight away, we find out that being his carer as well, I was able to come and go as I needed to, with lots of precautions, but like being able to do shoppings. And so we try to minimize the contact
Oh, sure.
with
Yeah, sure.
with anything else, and say the only thing I would go and have any contact with was going to the shops to buy something. So we minimized any other contact, and it was just like my daughter and you and me, in a way,
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
going back and forth.
Yeah.
So I was okay. I was okay. And then we had an incredible summer. We have one of the best summers we had here in England.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like, this is okay, actually. Like, I don't mind. I could be baking cakes and, so we didn't know if we were going to get out of it. So it was like, well, goodbye to the diet. It doesn't matter. Let's just bake cakes and, and eat to heart's content.
And then we got to June 2020, and I remember we were talking all the time, and we were also discussing what the situation was like in Argentina in our WhatsApp group with our primary school friends. Oh, sorry, we need a parenthesis in Spanish. Les tenemos que mandar un beso.
Un beso a los chicos de Lange.
All right, unquote. And then we got to June, and I remember we were talking about adapting our activities, because I could open, I think, my language school a day a week, but it wasn't really working. I had these plexiglass mini walls separating, wearing the mask. It was torture. And then you didn't feel safe. You didn't feel safe at all or comfortable. And so we managed, I don't know, the driving lessons are not possible online that way, theory maybe. But for us, it was possible to kind of rethink our activity or adapt our activity. And then until October, more or less, 2020. And then it was shut down until basically now, May 2021. And that's been a bit tougher on people, I felt. all around us. So why don't you tell us a little bit, if this was your experience as well, or has been, and what you mentioned before, the series on YouTube.
Um, well, luckily, as I said, one of the things that we have with Wayne is that we are going to find a way. We're going to find a way. And we don't have an airplane parked outside because
Don't
we
you?
haven't had enough time to have flying hours. If not,
Yeah.
there would be an airplane here.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, that's just the beauty of Wayne. Like, he doesn't see limits. He doesn't see it. Like, when I met him, I was somebody that saw limits on everything. And then I thought, well, if he doesn't see any limits, why am I seeing any limits on anything? So pretty much straight away, in the first few weeks, we had my Zumba classes online. And and Zoom wasn't prepared for that yet. So the music didn't sync. Like, we had problems. People were like, I don't have what, people weren't educated enough around how to use Zoom. Luckily, Wayne is very patient and also knows a lot of IT. So we started working together. So I said, well, whatever we earn through the classes, then we share.
Yeah.
And so we started doing that. My treatment room, which is here, has been closed now for a year and some months, like since February.
No income basically for freelancers, right? Or
yeah, exactly. That's one of my, I do personal training as well. Like, the studios were closed. I went back and forth to the studios or the gyms. And for me, the most puzzling thing was, okay, am I moving everything online, or am
I combining? Is this going to be a hybrid or not, or what?
Exactly.
Yes.
So as it probably happens to you and to us, like, we had to keep paying for a lot of things that we weren't using, but just in case they said, okay, now you can go out.
Yeah.
So so my classes were, okay, my living room is like this, things like, then it was always, I was going to be a bit more.
And it wasn't always possible to negotiate overhead. People were, because they needed the rent money, they didn't know what was going on. So we talked a lot about this, the two of us, during and adapting and trying to find ways. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So one day I woke up and in my head I had How to Connect with Humans. I knew we were going to do something with that title. I didn't know what it was. And then I talked to Wayne and I said, we had this urge that I wanted to serve people. We came to an understanding of the 3 principles, which is what we teach, that really helped us through, in my case, one of the toughest time of my lives. And it's completely changed your life as well.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us what the 3 principles are for people who don't know?
Basically, the 3 principles is an understanding that helps you see how you experience life. So when you're clear about how things work, then you're able to navigate life in a better way. So the beauty about that is that it doesn't clash with anybody's religion or science beliefs. The only thing that, yes, it challenges is that how we've been perceiving life so far, that things happen from outside in. And basically, and so Sydney Banks, who is the person who uncovered the principles or explained
Really
in a way.
Man, right? A Welsh welder, I read.
Yeah, he was a Scottish welder who lived in Canada. And so that's the beauty of it. And I know you're very spiritual, and we have a big passion, both of us, about seeing truth and in a way stop seeking for the thing that's going to fix you.
Sure.
When you understand that you are fine as you are, that you are all
That
you
you
need.
apparently possess what you need to be happy. Yeah. You see it as so it's like living through thought a little bit for you, because I've researched our talk. So the three principles: the mind, consciousness or awareness, and number three, I don't remember.
So mind, consciousness, and thought.
Right.
Now, the fact that we can say mind, consciousness, and thought, really, I'm not sure it's going to mean much to
No.
people. When we heard it, we went like, and
Uh-huh.
you know, it's something that really puts, in a way, it's something so simple, and no wonder it came to such a simple man that didn't have a big intellectual
Background, yeah.
look at life or knowledge, or very simple man, very simple man,
Ordinary man.
that was able to say it like that, was enlightened for like 3 days and on an awe of seeing. So he just basically went to the behind the curtains, behind the wall, or the making of how everything happens. And then he was kind enough to try to pass it on without saying, it's me, I'm some sort of a guru or god or whatever. Like, this is just what we all have.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we got it upside down. We thought it was coming from outside, but it's actually our experience is like, it's like a projector. So you make sense of what's going outside, and that's what you see.
Right. And this is
So
the techniques or the way to look at life that you've been trained in, and that you train people in, or that you coach people based on this, so that they can see the realities in a different way. Like Wayne not seeing any limits to what life can offer. And my Buddhist perspective is impossible is nothing. So Wayne, we're a team.
Absolutely.
so yeah, I'm coming along to the team.
Yeah.
No,
And I think
you
that's
were
it.
originally there, Carol. You're not coming alone. You were part of the team.
I think that's it. I think for me, one of the biggest things that I've seen with this understanding is that I'm not my disability.
Mm-hmm.
I have a disability, but I'm not my disability. When I was younger, I was always kind of told, oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this because of your disability.
Sure.
And what I've seen more recently is the fact that just because I've got this disability, it doesn't mean nothing.
It won't define what I want to do and who I want to be, right?
Yeah. It doesn't define Wayne Yates. Wayne Yates is this man that can do anything he wants to do. And as Carolina said earlier, 9 times out of 10, if I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And with the instructing, for example, there was times where I kind of thought that, oh, I can't do that because of
Yeah.
people going to think, what a, and I'm doing it. And with the coaching, it just kind of helps people to see that they're not limited
Sure.
by what they think.
And if you have experienced that yourself, because in any school of coaching, or at least what I've studied and the life coaching I have, if you don't go through it yourself, if you don't apply that to your own life, then it makes no sense. Because don't preach to me if you don't know what we're going through. Or so it's part of being of true empathy, I think. And I like this that you said this, to serve, because we know that to serve and to protect from the police officers in the United States, but to serve, to really serve, to use your life to help people. This is a very pure concept, and there's nothing formal or stupid or structured about that. It's just a feeling that you care about fellow human beings, right? And this is what motivated me to start these talks, just to exchange experiences with my friends all over the world. And what actually motivated you to give a shape to that, how to connect with humans. Because I think personally that these last 15 months have really made us go back to what's essential. And I think we were kind of missing or losing and kind of destroying a sense of community, a sense of we've got each other's backs, because we kind of didn't for a while. And so I've been living my life for many, many years now in this, in being in accordance with myself, and living for myself and for others, the right balance, right? And I think from your perspective and the school of thought you follow, it is quite the same, is it not, Caro? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. One of the main reasons we did this is to show people that we're not a victim of hard circumstances.
Yes.
We're not diminishing that there are hard circumstances. We, as you say, we personally have gone through really hard circumstances. But knowing that you're not your circumstances, that everybody has the capacity of unlimited resilience, it's incredibly powerful, that we're all connected, that we're all like this, say like these waves of the ocean. So you and me and Wayne are one of these waves. And if I think, oh my God, I'm more curly or I'm higher or whatever, where I can do that, or not, or, I can go, I'm bigger than you or smaller than you, or I can use it in any way I want. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could be like Cynthia, she's so perfectly wavy. And now, yeah, there you go. But as soon as you look down, like there's no separation. Like as soon as you look down, the ocean is the ocean. There's no wave that is more ocean than the other wave, right? So we're all connected.
It's just part of the oneness. Yeah.
And if you don't want to look at it from a spiritual side, and you think like, oh, it all sounds so like, lovely, hippie, whatever you want to call it, you just can go and look at physics. You can go and look at science itself. Everything is energy.
Yes.
Everything is energy that looks like form to us. But as soon as you start going down, it's just, it's just anything. It's just energy. All energy.
Yeah.
It's all energy just manifesting, because you put compounds together and then they look like my hair or me or, on the table, but at the end, those compounds are all energy together. Yeah. So that there is, that we are all one, we're all the same as what changes the seasons, what makes the sun come out, what makes your digestion happen. You're like, I don't want to think about my digestion for it to happen, just magically,
And it's funny because that's the way Buddhism describes life and death, and the two aspects of the oneness or inseparability, like the waves in the ocean that they fuse back into this mass of water, which there's no difference. So we're really there. So for people who'd like to, the 5 series already with 10 episodes each, right? You're in your 5th. They can go onto Facebook and type "How to Connect with Humans." And there's also a YouTube channel you guys have. And the name is "How to Connect with Humans" with underscores separating the words. Yeah. And so, but we're going to put all these references either in the presentation of the video, and if there's not enough space, we'll put it as a comment so that people can click and go to your website, or to your Facebook page, or to the YouTube channel. Okay. And then
the series, what I would like to say is that the series is not about teaching the principles. The series is about We have different speakers every week,
Yeah.
of all different backgrounds and styles and, you know, topics.
Yeah.
So basically people talk about their experience in life and what's happened. And, you know, it's a message of hope, and to see that you are not the only one that is going through that. And what happens when people sort of see it or do it, or from, you know, we have people from prison that are talking in our series. We have people that had overcome chronic pain. We have I don't know, we have doctors and psychologists and you name it. I think we have a whole collection. So that's what the series is about. It's about human beings. It's
We'll let
about
people explore and then click on the one that they feel drawn to. Yeah. And then let's go back a little bit to this time where the pandemic is at now in the UK and in Belgium, and your professional activities. And even if people want to get in touch with you now for professional, not so, we understood very clearly that how to connect with humans is a gift from the heart, and it's a gift. So it's a series that's out there and for free, and just to spread hope. And but you also have a professional activity as coaches, and that one is not your rehab or your driving lessons. That part is really being coaches to help people either in groups, individually, in amidst their reality, or taking some days off as, in formulas or retreat time outs and so forth. Why don't you explain that a little bit, the two of you? Yeah.
I think we've created what we call the Back to Being You school, and as you've said, Cynthia, with that it's about the one-to-one work we do with coaching. It's about the group sessions we do, and it's also about training other facilitators, and it's also about the retreats that we do.
And what kind of people would be looking for your coaching services, or to being introduced to the teachings of the three principles to become facilitators themselves? This Back to Being You school. What kind of people will find you? Or
well, I think if you are a human being, that's the kind of people that will be looking for.
right, that's enough.
That's why it's connected.
Funny enough, that's the case with my students too.
Well, because the thing is, I think we all, one way or another, we're always looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
We always have the feeling that, or we are suffering, or we have lost hope, or we feel that we are not adequate enough, or we are not loved enough, or we're not wanted enough. What we do, it doesn't look like what we want to have, or there's this inherent thing to human beings of always being seeking for better, or not feeling good enough in a way. So what we do is, and this is why we are facilitators, we facilitate, we make it easy, as in fácil, we will say in Spanish, for people to, we just go and tap people on the shoulder and show them the resources. So as
Talking
you,
about Spanish, you do that in Spanish too, right?
Spanish too.
And English.
So for example, we have sessions on rehabilitation. I don't teach the principles during rehabilitation, but what's done for my career during rehabilitation is that I see people that are whole, that are healthy. I see the health in them. I don't see them like a case that I need to fix. So that does miracles.
So the same would be true for people who don't come to you because they need rehab work, but people who come to you because they are seeking to improve the way they feel about life, or to get rid of all this heaviness that the last 15 months you know, have created, or people who just want to better themselves. So you will apply the same concept of, okay, we are here to facilitate your way into obtaining all those goals and not feeling limited by your circumstances, right? And you mentioned groups and individual work. How does it work?
Um, the one-to-ones are like they're conversations,
Right.
like a coaching conversation.
Mhm.
And then we set a period of time, depending, we assess with people what they need, and then we set a period of time on how long we're going to work with them, and then reassess, and then see what they need and what we think we can do to help them. With groups, usually are it's similar, but they may have a theme. So, for example,
Triggers exchanges in a particular.
yeah, people can come to the group because they want to stop living with so much anxiety, or say they're having panic attacks, or they live in a constant worry, or they're depressed, or so they may come because they want to live with less anxiety. Usually what we see is that after a weekend or after a certain period of time, because this is like the tide, it levels up all the boats. So you can come to fix this, but because everything gets better,
It raises everything, right?
they all rise.
Yeah.
So you may come because you think,
Okay.
I feel so anxious about everything, and then you
Yeah.
start feeling less anxious, but also without you wanting it, you lost weight, and you had, I don't know, a constant headache or a pain on your knee, and that pain, so you don't know how, but it's gone. So people go like, but you know, I came because I wanted to earn more money.
Yeah.
I wanted because I wanted my business to.
But now I sleep better. So
Now the relationship with my wife is so much better, and with my children. So you see, it's a constant gift that keeps giving. And the great thing is that this just works like this.
so it can be online. If further down the line we can open our practices again, it can be on site, and then it can be with one of you or the two of you.
Yes.
What a treat. Is there anything you'd like to say we haven't addressed or talked about this time? I can sing a love song for you too if you keep on. Horizon. No.
First, I want to say, Cynthia, thank you for the opportunity.
Out of here.
Thank you for putting your trust in me and in us. And I have to say, you are an example of what I highly value in life. Not just because you are my friend, because I've seen you every minute of your life. Just fight. You're a lioness. You never give up. And
we all are. We all are.
It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see, and it's very inspiring for other people. And I know how full your days are, and you're now also adding time to make this series. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. Let's pay it forward. Yeah. So whatever it is we find, let's pay it forward. That's what life is all about. I hope this summer we can hug each other.
Yes.
This is my
You
wish.
will find a picture. Keep looking down here because it's coming.
Okay. I'm counting on that. Have a wonderful evening in the UK. It's dinner time in Belgium. What? past. We've chatted for a long time, but it's been a pleasure. See you next time, you guys. Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Lots of love.
Ciao, ciao, belleza.